Hello, I'm Alasdair519, Happy Pumpkin Bomb Gaming, and today we're going to do a podcast with one of my good friends, Ryan Burnsy.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about zombie apocalypse and survival skills and stuff like that. So, what would be your sort of top 10 rules sort of things for zombie apocalypse, you reckon?
Well, I would recommend stay somewhere relatively open with good visibility, because while it means that the zombies have a better look at you, it also gives you more room to move, and you can see the zombies coming miles away. So somewhere outside, maybe in a tree or some such overlooking nice area. Tip number 2 would be don't stray too far from civilization, but far enough that the zombies will have a good hour or two of trekking to get to you, because, quite frankly, they'll decide that there's meat nearby than that, and probably leave you alone. Number 3, don't underestimate the value of food and water. Keep plenty of food and water with you, because those are the most used resources in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, and what type of food and water would you suggest using, like keeping around?
I'd suggest about 2 or 3 litres of water, and as for food, I'd suggest anything that's got a good nutrition content, preferably any canned food you can find.
Dogs.
Because with canned food, it's less likely to go off. I wouldn't go for McDonald's unless it was absolutely necessary, but their burgers do have a tendency never to go off once cooked, so...
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So you suggest something sort of like honey or bananas and stuff. But I guess bananas would go off pretty quick, so honey's good because it never goes off.
Yes. So anything that's not likely to go off within the first year or so of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, any good supply of food that doesn't go off, that's what I recommend. I'd also recommend don't shoot zombies unless it's absolutely necessary, as the sound will attract more of them.
Yeah.
So stick to a silenced weapon, so a bow or a sword.
Crossbows, slingshots. Put a link in the description for Slingshot channel. It's Anyway.
And preferably I'd go for something like a bow or a slingshot, because it's easy to get more, arrows or bolts for them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest a crossbow as much, as it requires specific bolts. And guns would be right down the bomb, even if they're silenced, as it's hard to make ammunition, whereas it's easy to make arrows, usually.
Yeah. Also, how would you go around, like, fortifying a house or building?
Well, preferably I'd choose a building without too many windows, as they're the liable point in any house. Glass doors are another big one to avoid, as they'll only hold up for at most a minute against a zombie. Okay, so...
Fortifying buildings. We had to have a cut there, people interrupted us.
So, stay clear of having glass doors and windows.
Would you suggest like a smaller space or sort of a larger, more like? Would you prefer like a small concrete box, which you have like your food supplies and that's like a door and that's it, like a heavy duty door, or would you prefer a sort of spacious room with supplies and stuff?
Well, it really depends on how many people there were. For example, if it was just me, I'd go for a panic room in a house with plenty of food. But if there are enough people, I'd go for somewhere larger, where we could keep a larger supply of food. Because when there's only one person, that's only one guard. Whereas if there's, 3 or 4 people, then that allows room for guarding multiple entrances. So a larger building works more easily. but I'd basically go for somewhere with sturdy walls, and for fortifying it, probably to start with, putting up a broken fence type bit outside where those big wire fences that are usually for growing plants on and stuff, I'd break every second spike to make into rectangles instead of squares and use those spikes to make a ramp type thing so that when zombies try running against the door, they go and skewer themselves, making them easy pickings.
So, on that sort of note, with windows, you're saying it's good to avoid them, but the problem with having, well, in lots of houses there are windows, because people like letting light in and all that. So if you want to avoid how would you, this is what I'm trying to say, how would you go about fortifying a window? Like, would you put, like, I know in all the zombie movies I've watched, you put boards across a window. Would that work on the inside, or would you have them on the outside, or put spikes, or what would you do?
Preferably I'd put a good solid object on both the inside and the outside. Preferably I'd also get a type of fencing metal of some sort across the windows, maybe proper iron bars to prevent burglars coming in, because if it can stop someone trying to forcefully enter the house, it's probably going to do a good job against zombies. Not a great one, but a good one. So, a large enough supply on a house of fences like that, it can fortify a window for a good, 10 minutes. And if you break out the glass, then you can just shoot a zombie or stab them through the window.
Stabbing. Let's talk about stabbing. What sort of melee weapons? So, we've gone over. I'll put a link in the description, as I said, to the Slingshot channel, which is a great zombie channel. They're actually getting a zombie movie where they're just shooting slingshots. So, but if you had to really pick a sort of what would be effective against the dead as a melee weapon, I'll put another link in the description to Zombie Go Boom, which they do lots of zombie melee things. So, your thoughts on melee weapons?
I'd probably go for something capable of getting through a skull, so a good sword, maybe a really good knife if the worst comes to worst, but preferably for one zombie, maybe two, maybe an axe with some sort of clean removal system in it. So if it could be cut loose from their skull or some such.
I think on the Slingshot channel, the guy who makes the channel, I can't remember what his name is right now, he made sort of a hammer with like a lever pull-off system. Would you want to make something like that, so that you'd push it and it would sort of push out from the skull so you could swing again quickly?
Yeah, that, or just have it really well honed so that you can pretty much rip it straight out with ease.
Yeah, so no sort of dents or dings in it, so that it makes it easier.
Yeah, so really smooth and well protected.
Okay, cool. We can do a second part of this. We'll have to do it over Skype though, because I won't be able to see you because you live far away from me. Thank you very much, Ryan Burnsy, for coming and doing this zombie podcast with me. I hope to do more with you in the future.
Okay, and I hope to do more with you.